Hello students, so in this video we'll be discussing the data set which has been provided by IFoA for the CS2 paper B exam. We'll be predicting a question which can come for your exam. Also, the classes for our Finatics will begin on May 1st for both IA and IFoA September term. We'll be coming up with more question solving, more recorded lectures and more deliverables for all our students. So let's see. Just this is just a prediction. It's not really true that this question can come, or is it necessary that this question will only come? It's just a prediction based on seeing the data set. That yeah, this is a possible question which can come. So this is the data set which has been provided: live, drug, gender, status, and time. So I've imported this data set into my R. Okay, and once I've imported the data set, I just took a summary to see that. I'll show you. I imported and then I took a summary to see that the data set is of 4400 rows. So there are 4400 lives which are being examined. Then there's a drug variable which is a categorical variable with a minimum value of 0 and a maximum value of 1. Then there's a gender variable with a minimum value of 0 and a maximum value, again a categorical variable by name it suggests. Then there's a status, which is a minimum value of 0 and a maximum value of 1. So status can be the event also on which we have to perform. And then the time, this, if you see the time goes from 1 to 365. So it can be yearly data based on daily recordings of data which is available. Okay, so first thing, if you see from the IFoA CS1 and CS2 guidelines PDF, the data set, the packages which have been told for are this time for CS2 is survival. One of the packages is survival. So we can use survival packages in the exam. And once you're using survival package in the paper, then I can, one possible question which I can think of is to fit a Kaplan-Meier model to this data set. So when you fit a Kaplan-Meier model to this data set, we use a surfit function, serve of time, comma, status, comma, 1. So status is the event which we are considering and time is the 365 days and data is equal to data as I stored it. And F1 is the model which I am fitting. And then you can plot the Kaplan-Meier survival estimate. So the question might look like this: fit a Kaplan-Meier model to the data and plot a Kaplan-Meier survival probability for a year. So if I plot this, the plot looks something like this, and we know that the dotted line indicate confidence intervals and the straight line indicates the probability. And then if you they can ask you, the question can be, one of the question can be this: estimate the 1 year probability of survival, okay, or the median survival time which you can find. So if you run F1, just F1, so if you just run F1, you can see the median survival time is 116. Okay, it's 116. So you can use that, estimate the median survival time. Then estimate the 1 year probability of survival. So if you just want to see the 1 year probability, the last probability, what is the probability for surviving till 365th day. So what do we run is summary of F1 time. We want time equals to 365 at the end. So when we run this at time 365, we have this many risks which are still left. This is the event. And this is the survival probability. This is a 17.2% probability is still there of survival. Okay, and also you can run names of F1 to see what all you can pull from the F1 data set. Okay, so somebody will give you all this from this. You can get comparing survival time between two groups. Since we have gender over here, you can get survival comparison of survival between the two groups. So for that we use a servdiff function, where the servdiff function, if you run this as a model 2 which I have saved in gender, and this is data, and if I run model 2, if I run model 2, so you can see the number n for gender 0 is 2200, for 1 is 2200 also. Observed weighted data which we can see is 1964-49 expected weighted data, and this is a chi-square test. And if you see the p-value is less than 2e minus 16, the h naught for this says that there is no difference in survival probability for the two groups, and h1 says there's a difference. And since the probability is less than, you can see it's almost 0. So when the probability is almost 0, which is less than 0.5%, we can say that there is a difference between the survival probabilities of the two groups. Okay, as we know that p-value, if it is greater than 0.05, we accept the null hypothesis. If it is less than 0.05, we reject the null hypothesis. Since it's less than 0.05, so we are rejecting the null hypothesis. We're saying there is a difference between the survival between the two groups. This is a possible question which can come up. The next possible question related to this data set only can be of Cox regression model because of the drug. There is one more categorical variable present over here, which is the drug. So there can be a Cox pH model also, which can come over here. So Cox pH model, survival of time, comma, status to gender plus data. Gender plus drug is equals to data. And there can be a model for which is there. So this will give you the coefficients of drug and gender, and then you can be told to fit a parsimonious model whether only gender or whether only drug is required for the data. Okay, it can be this is just a prediction, so it can be anything. It can be either gender or gender plus drug, or it can be drug or drug plus gender. So it can be or it can be the all the three as well. So based on the three events, you need to compare the likelihood ratio test for the three models, and you can see from my observation, which I feel it should be model 4 and only gender, because their likelihood ratio is nearly really close. So at this likelihood ratio test for model 4 is around 824.9, and for the other one for just gender is 719.4, if you see, for just gender. And if I take a difference, this comes to 105.5. And at chi SQ for 1 degree of freedom, because it's just two. So at 1 degrees of freedom, if we just compare these two data set, so at 1 degree of freedom, we are getting a value of 3.841459. So, which is much less than this. So, since our critical value, since our test statistic is greater than the critical value, so we reject the null hypothesis, and we say that gender plus drug is a better model than gender. Okay, so that can be one of the thing, or it can be just fitting a Cox regression model. These are just predictions, and it's not sure that whether this will only come or not. Just on basis of seeing the data, I have understood that this is a possible question which can come on survival, and it's very likely to come because all the criteria according to survival model match to these, and this can be the questions. Obviously, there can be comments associated with these questions based on seeing whatever 17.2% or comparing survival between two groups. You need to write H0, H1, and so on. There can be different things which you can write. Also, there have been packages like uh, rpart, rpart.plot, which is mentioned in the model. So yes, rpart and rpart.plot, you can just these are used for making decision trees. So you can expect a machine learning question also. And then there is a copula package which has been said, but then this guidance is for both April and September 2021. So maybe, and then there's Markov chain as well. So yes, you get a lot of idea that there can be Markov chain question, which I feel it will be one. Then there'll be a question of time series. Again, mostly time series generally comes in every term, so it's a thing that time series will come this time as well. And then there's survival. If there are three questions in the paper, like the past 3 times, there has been 3 questions in the paper for Markov chain time series survival. They can be Markov chain machine learning and survival as well, or can be machine learning time series and survival. So instead time series, I think mostly it will be there, and instead of that, this question one for survival, which I think can be there because of the data set it's been provided for this time. So time series and survival, you can put your hold on for this term, and the other one can be Markov chain or machine learning. And rpart and rpart.plots are very easy data the packages. You just need to run them, and a decision tree will be formed. So you can use those packages to form your decision trees. Rpart is for fitting the model, and rpart.plot is for making the decision tree of that model which you have fitted with rpart. So yes, this was it. again, just this is are just projections. You can just view the questions which I have said and how the codes can be performed for these. So there's serve fit, there's serve diff, then there is cox ph which can come up, which I feel is very relevant to this data set. Thank you guys. You can keep subscribed to Finatics for more and more such videos and contents which will be coming up for the September 2021 and further sessions, further recorded lectures, more question solvings and so on. Thank you.